Wine.com experiences. I'm Gwendolyn Osborne. Today we are talking tequila, and not just any tequila. We will be talking and tasting Villa One tequila, which is a partnership between John Varvatos and Nick Jonas, along with Master Distiller Arturo Fuentes. For those of you who registered and submitted questions beforehand, thank you so much. We are trying to incorporate as many of those as possible through our conversation. If you have the tequila to taste with us also, that's fantastic. We're going to be tasting both the silver and the reposado today. And as we suggested when we sent out a reminder email, we're going to have them in champagne flutes to really enhance the aromas. So if you have champagne flutes on hand, I really encourage you to try them in that just when we're going through the aroma portion. If not, no worries, but we'll explain that later as well. Also, I'm sure everybody's gonna have them in a highball glass, and you can make yourself a cocktail, whatever works best for you. Now I would like to introduce our guests. We have the two co-founders of Villa One, John Varvatos and Nick Jonas. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. We've got one outdoor kitchen, we've got one indoor kitchen. And we'd also like to welcome your master distiller, Arturo Fuentes, who's joining us from Mexico. Welcome, Arturo.
Where is he?
I know he's there. He was there. Somewhere there. But he does have 3 bottles of tequila with him, so. There he is.
Hey, Arturo. Oh. Hola.
Hola. Okay, so before we start tasting the tequila, I'm going to ask a few questions a lot of people are interested in knowing about. One, first is your connection. So, Nick, how do you and John know each other?
John and I know each other from a couple years back. We were sat next to each other at an event in New York City. And we started talking about life and music and family, and realized that we had a lot more in common than we initially thought. And one of those things, in addition to all those other things we just mentioned, was tequila. And so a few days later, I was working on some music in the studio, and I asked John to come join, and he came, and we continued that conversation, and from there kind of started what became a really good creative partnership. The first was with a clothing collaboration we did, which was so inspiring and so fun to work on together. And then from there to a number of fragrance collaborations we've now done. And he also was a producer on the documentary my brothers and I did, and intimately involved in that as well. And in all those times we spent talking about life and the world and family and everything else and music, we also found that we were drinking tequila, and that we both had a passion for it, and more so that we were just fans with a desire to learn more about it. And as everything worked out, you know, we were able to team up with Stoli, and they had just started talking about expanding their tequila portfolio, and the timing just made sense, and we all were aligned in our vision and what we wanted to bring, both from a flavor side of things, but also from an aesthetic and an overall idea about what this brand was going to represent, which is that for John and I both, I think we feel that the moments when we're drinking tequila and we're around the people we love, having great experiences, it's a lot more like champagne in a way, where it's a celebratory thing. And so this idea of life as it should be, as our mantra and our motto, became really important to both of us. And then there was the incredible experience of working with Arturo, you know, the godfather of tequila, who really helped us craft what we believe is the best juice out there. Something that has kind of all the notes you want in a tequila, both from our silver and our reposado, and then into our anejo, which I have here. I know we only are talking about the silver and the reposado today, but there's something for everybody in a way, and something that I think is highly competitive and tells a great story. And overall, it's been a great journey, and we're just all so glad to be here, even if it's on a webinar like this, to talk about something we're really passionate about. And obviously, we're in kind of a wild time in the world, but the fact that we get to connect in this way and make the world a little bit of a smaller place by way of sharing a drink together means a lot to us. So thank you for everyone who's joining,
Yeah.
and to Wine.com for having us. It's very exciting.
We're very glad you're here. I think that sharing a drink and also sharing a story. I think that, a lot of the spirits and then wine revolve around stories and something, coming from the heart. So, and I know that you were on vacation together, John. Maybe you can tell this when you were on vacation together. That's how you came up with the name. And I think the exact tagline, even though, like Nick had said, you had already been conversing about enjoying life as it should be. But tell us about that.
Yeah, Nick and I and family and a few friends, we headed down to Mexico to explore the whole idea of potentially creating a tequila together. And on the way down, it was interesting. We went to a little area that wasn't close to Jalisco, where we were headed, and we spent an evening at a beautiful home, a beautiful villa, and had a great night, all getting together, enjoying family and friends, talking about life, talking about what this tequila could be, branding. And in that evening, a couple things happened. Number one, we threw out a couple of names. One of them happened to be Villa One because the place we were staying was called Villa One. But also, Nick, at the end of the evening, did a toast to everybody and said, "To life as it should be." And as he said, that became our mantra. So the next morning, we got up to head down to Jalisco through Guadalajara. And I walked out in front of the little villa, and there was a sign there outside the gate, and it said Villa One on it. And it just clicked. It just seemed to be this lightning bolt that made sense for us. So we all started talking about it, even working on ideas on logos on the plane, how quickly we got into it. We got down to Jalisco, and we visited the distillery, the Finos distillery, where we make the tequila, which is owned by our partner Stoli Group. And there we met this magical man, Arturo Fuentes. And Arturo in that region is really known as the godfather of tequila. He's created so many great tequilas over time, but he also has a background in making also champagne and wines. He lived in France. He's really a worldly guy. So it's, very special to be able to kick it off. And that's where we did. We went down there and we kicked everything off there.
That's fantastic. And what about I know that this is just such a great design. I know, John, you have a background in design. So was this the fleur-de-lis kind of take on it? Does this come from anything that was part of the villa, or just something you...
Yeah. So the first thing was the bottle shape. Nick and I talked a lot. We looked at a lot of things in archives and that. And the one thing we knew that we wanted was something that felt very authentic in terms of the shape. Felt good in your hand, good when you pour it, good for bartenders, that type of thing. That icon that we call it, as you call the fleur-de-lis, it's really an agave plant with a fleur-de-lis that are married. And it was an icon that we found kind of buried in the distillery from many, many years ago. We don't really know what it was from, but we thought there was something interesting, and we reworked the design of it. And then at the top of it, there's a ring around the top of this that is based, actually, I'm wearing a bracelet that it was based on. So I was working on the bottle design, kind of going back and forth with Nick, and came up with the idea of creating something so when you take the top off, it still has a beautiful sense there on the counter.
Okay. It's a beautiful packaging, which is important as well. So we're gonna taste this tequila, but Arturo, I want to bring you in because you have these two gentlemen who come to you saying they want the best of the best, the top tequila. What are your next steps to make that happen?
Okay, let me explain something interesting. When John and Nick came for the first time with us, they were very clear idea. They told us, friends, we want the best tequila. We have tasted tequilas from highlands, from lowlands, very good, but we would like to take advantage of the good qualities of both regions in order to have a special product, one of the best. Okay, was a very good idea because as you know, the best agaves comes from both regions, highlands and lowlands. Immediately, we began to work. We worked very hard, and we did it. We achieved one special tequila with aromas from one region, citrus and herbals, and other regions, fruity and floral aromas. So, after 45 years working in this activity, I can say tequila is my life. And my pride is this product, is Villa One. Okay?
Yep. So we're gonna taste the silver first. We're gonna start with that. And Arturo, okay? Why do I have this in a champagne flute? This was recommended. What does this do to help me get the aromas?
Okay, I like to drink the tequila. Okay, and for me, I prefer reposados. Reposado is very good for me because I find the perfect balance between wood and tequila. But Tequila Blanco is very special because it's a bright tequila with flashes of silver. We can appreciate very good body, like we name it legs of the tequila. We feel fruity and subtle aroma. It is friendly, and when we taste, it's very soft. It's soft to the palate, and it's a combination between wood, cooked agave, and the fruity. It's very fresh tequila.
It's very, very fresh. So I have mine. I made a Paloma San syrup. Nick and John, Nick, we'll start with you. How are your favorite ways to drink this silver?
I have a few different ways that I drink it. Right now, I'm just doing the straight out of the champagne flute. But for me, this is really nice with a lime, whereas with the reposado, I prefer it with a little bit of club soda and an orange wedge, as I have here. I call it the especial. But this way, to me, best with some ice, some orange, and a little lime, and just a little bit of club soda. But as you can taste it, if you're tasting it with us right now, really smooth, incredibly subtle as well as far as the taste of the alcohol, which is one of the things that we worked really hard with Arturo on, and actually just understanding the full-bodied nature of this kind of tequila and what he does so well when he makes it, and making sure that it was something that would mix well as well. So it makes perfect sense you'd have it with a Paloma.
I don't have the sugar. I don't like sweetness, so it's just grapefruit and lime and some orange bitters, and it's fantastic.
Well, as a type 1 diabetic, I'm with you. The sugar is
I don't like sugars in my cocktail.
No-go for me too.
Yeah,
But I do it the same way. I do it with a Paloma, but I add a little club soda as well.
Yeah, exactly.
For a little sparkle and fun. And then, I will say, if you're a margarita fan, to me, this is just out of here on a margarita, and a little bit of salt in the rim as well. It's really quite special.
Yeah. John, I saw you muddling away earlier. What were you doing there in the kitchen?
Yeah, as Nick said, there's a couple things. The first thing is I love the silver. I have to say, I never drank silver straight before, but Arturo did such a magnificent job on this that I drink it just on the rocks with a lime or a slice of orange, and I never did that before with silver. I really think this is very special. But my favorite drink that I have the most with the silver is what I call the JV margarita. And that is ice, Villa One Silver. We take a little cilantro. We actually grow it here. I'm at my lake house. We grow it. We even have it in the house. And you take a little bit of it and you muddle it into the glass with a little splash of orange juice and lime. And you put it in a shaker and it becomes this amazing, refreshing drink.
Also
Here.
lower in sugar, which is great. I mean, some of my margarita days I stay away from due to that over Yucca. But that sounds fantastic, especially if you're growing the fresh. It's fantastic. So one thing I also want to talk about, Arturo, if you could tell me a little bit about how the water, you're using well water, like artisan well water from your estate, your property. How does that influence the taste that we get in these tequilas?
Water is very important because one bottle of tequila, we find 40% alcohol. The rest, 60% is water. So it's very important, the quality. We receive the water from the springs surround the Volcano Tequila. Volcano Tequila is in front of our factory. When the water arrives to the factory, we have special filtration in order to have very pure the tequila, the water, excuse me. And after that, we have reverse osmosis in order to eliminate the bad minerals. And at the end, we have a special filter, ion silver filter. This kind of filter is used in the medical industry in order to have the more purified water. So the water that we use is very pure. It's very important.
Yeah, no, water is. You have the alcohol and then you have the water. So the purity of the water, I think, makes a difference in the purity of the final product. So why don't we taste the Reposado? So the Reposado is more aged in the silver. It's been 6 months in American oak, correct? So if we're having this, what kind of different aromas will we be getting, Arturo?
Okay, the Blanco tequila is sent to the special barrels with the special toasts in order to get this high, very bright bronze color with reddish hues. In the barrel, we have two kind of chemical reactions, natural chemical reactions. One of that we give us color, and the other reaction we get aromas and flavors. We get very good aromas like caramel for the quality of the barrel that toast. Okay, that's Reposado is I prefer Reposado.
Yeah. I love the color. It's a beautiful color.
Beautiful, yes.
And I see what Nick was saying. He prefers that just, with the lime on the rocks. It's not something you necessarily want to cocktail up, I guess, as much because it has such purity in the nose.
Yeah, but this was one that we worked especially hard on. I think between Arturo, John, and I, we're all big fans of the Reposado in general. So getting this right was very important to us. And, the caramel notes, some of those other things were really nuanced and kind of locked in with Arturo's guidance. And I will say I have had quite a bit of this and I enjoy it very much.
So that leads me into my next question for both of you of, there are a lot of wine and spirit celebrity partnerships going on. I want to know, how involved have you both been in the process? I mean, I don't see you out there necessarily crushing agave, but in the blending and things like that. Have you enjoyed that part? Nick, you want to start with that?
Well, we did actually pick out some of our piñas, which was quite fun. And I think the thing with John and I in any creative venture we've had now is that our friendship and our care for each other comes first, and in that, whatever we do together is a reflection of that, and pushing each other to be the best we can be, and to learn as much as we can. And with this, we learned a lot in the process, made a great teacher. And I think we kind of fell into our roles a little bit in a great way. As you can see there, tasting lots of tequila. The reposado is my wife's favorite as well. It's in the right on that photo. But the process of getting it right, I think, was more about us, kind of at the time we were in very different parts of the country and the world, and just staying on top of communication. When one of us would try something or host a little dinner party with some of our friends to get their opinions as well, we would call each other the next day and talk through it. And then on the design concept, John is brilliant. That's what he does, and he does it very well, has for a long time. So I was just trying to be a support to him, whatever I could be, and give my input. And that safety net of knowing you're safe to say whatever you feel, that you're not going to be judged for having a strong opinion one way or the other, really helps. And I think what you end up with is something you're really proud of, and also knowing that the journey to get there was fun, which is what it should be. And as far as the tasting of it goes, it was challenging because we were in different parts of the world and sending little bottles of the different versions of tequila and making little notes here and there, and eventually got it to a point where we were really proud.
Yeah, I love this reposado. It's really
it's
very
addictive.
So speaking of that too, and John, what about you? What did you enjoy? The blending, the picking, being there?
I think Nick articulated it quite well, as he usually does. It was just a magical journey for us all the way once we got started, and Arturo was the kind of fire plug in it, because when we went into it, we told him we really wanted something. We wanted the best. We wanted to go up against any tequila at any price. It really was about quality. And so we really spent the time on that and didn't rush the process. And, it's really interesting to have a partner like Nick in it as well, because he's totally straightforward. Like he said, you don't have to worry about what you say. And it's everything from the taste preferences, because everybody's taste palette is somewhat different, to the details on the bottle. And we went back and forth. And in the end, I think we raised the bar. And I think that was the important thing, is that we were able to raise the bar and even do something better than we expected, and something that we are truly very proud of.
Yeah. So Arturo, there are plenty of tequila options on the market. And so Arturo, I'll have you start with this one, but what about this blend and what you're doing here? You said you're most proud of it. What makes it stand out for other tequilas? Arturo?
Yes.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was for you to start with. You had said this is one that you're most proud of. I wanted to know what about this tequila makes it stand out in the whole market of other tequila.
Okay, tequila is the fastest growing drink in the world right now, and we think in this case we have the one product that is the best. We hope that people taste tequila, because this is made with the heart of us, and we are very proud of this. I hope people appreciate this quality.
Yeah, it is. It's tremendous quality. And John, I know you're also passionate about telling your story of what differentiates you on the market. So maybe you can add to that.
Yeah, I mean, we're so confident and proud of what we created here that we like to do the taste test. We like to go up against whatever your tequila is that you've been drinking, take Villa One and do the taste test against it. And we love doing blind taste tests where we share them with friends and we don't let them know. We don't even know what everybody's drinking. We kind of mark the bottoms of the glasses and that. And we feel that most of the time, like I said, everybody's taste preference is somewhat different, but most of the time we are on top, and it's a great feeling. And that's where, as Arturo said, I think that from a quality, before you even get to like price value or anything, but just talking about quality and taste, which is why you drink something, is because you love the taste. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a wine or tequila. And this tequila, we get that response. We hear from many people that they say, and I know Nick hears the same thing, that they say it's too good. Well, I love when someone tells me something's too good.
Yes, it's when I'm just like, oh, how is my cocktail that low? Or oh, here, how does that happen? Yeah, so dangerously so. But and even if somebody doesn't, it's not to their taste. I think that, you know, in the wine business, and this is the same thing of understanding quality, even if it's not your taste preference. And this,
Sure.
Even if one is not a huge tequila drinker, you can tell the quality of this based on the balance and the mouthfeel and everything coming through. Food. Nick, I'm throwing this to you because I know you've got some snacks. So,
I do.
Why not? But, you know, is this something that you have, obviously would work with, you know, just snack food, cocktail hour kind of thing, but is this something you would pair with a meal and have you, and any ideas on that?
I have.
Good.
So, you know, I think the beauty of this is that it does pair so well with snacks or a meal. You know, I eat a lot of fish, and I feel that this is just amazing with fish, both raw fish and cooked fish. And then also, you know, for my snacking food, I find that, and maybe Arturo can speak to why this is, because he's the pro here. But I find that food with a little bit of vinegar in it, so salt and vinegar chips, or even, you know, I like olives and lemon flavors, things like that. I find pair really well, and also just things with a nice amount of pepper bring out some of the great notes and flavors in our tequila. So I've actually got a little snack tray right here with some pita chips and a little bit of their pop chips, and they're flavored with salt and vinegar, and then just classic salt and pepper chips, and they are just the best pairing, as well as cheese. Not the first thing you might think of, but I find that just a really good cheese with this tequila is phenomenal.
Perfect. Yeah, you're looking at things that have salt and spice and vinegar or acidity, like you're talking about lemon. That's a perfect match. John, do you have any favorite pairings?
Well, of course, Mexican food, which we did have tonight. My wife, Joyce, made a wonderful vegetarian Mexican dinner tonight, and it pairs so beautifully with that. But as Nick said, fish. You know, I don't drink it as much with meat, but definitely I don't even eat that much meat. So it's really more fish and vegetables and that type of thing. You know, as we said, and you know, it's nice to just sip on its own as well, and that's where we get into the Anejo as well, which is really the Reposado is our tequila of choice. But we love the silver, and the Anejo is something that's more of a later night type of sipping tequila. But I think it's like wines. I think it's, you know, everything has, depending on what the grapes are, or here the taste palette is, how it blends with the food, and everybody's, as Nick likes a little salty or vinegar oriented things. I think everybody's got a little different perspective on that.
Yeah. So Arturo, can you speak a little bit to why a salt and vinegar acidity might go well with the tequila?
I think it depends of how the people want taste. Some people prefer blancos when begin the food, or añejos when the food finish, but it depends of the people. Tequila is a drink that combine with all type of foods.
Yeah, no, we call it food wines. We can call this a food spirit. So that's perfect. And then I also, and Nick, maybe you can hold up the bottle. There's also an Anejo, which is the tequila that is aged in oak for 12 months, correct? Yes. Yes. And I imagine, I don't have any in front of me, but has that more of that caramel, more of that darker color, that richer flavor and taste profile. It is that kind of after dinner sort of. So one last question for you. We are Wine.com, and a few people wanted to know about your favorite wines to drink, Nick and John, if you have any. Nick, are you a wine fan? What kind of styles? Anything?
I'm a big wine fan.
Oh, good.
in the last
What do you order from Wine.com?
couple of years, exactly. A couple of years, I've had some friends that knew a lot more about it than I did, who educated me, and more just about kind of what I like and the regions I like. And so I'm a big Bordeaux fan, as well as Napa and a lot of Italian wines as well. But I probably know the most about Bordeaux and Napa, and some recent discoveries and some kind of old faithfuls. But on the recent side of things, something I'm really enjoying is Chendo out of Napa, which I really love. And then on the Bordeaux side, kind of a sucker for the big names in a way, and the Rothschild and Margaux and those. And then of course, I saw it in the trailer before we began from Wine.com. The Caymus is a little bit of an old faithful in our household, especially we eat a lot of Indian food. My wife is Indian, and we find that the Caymus is a perfect pairing for our Indian food. And so we're kind of all over the map, but in general, I'm a Bordeaux guy myself.
Well, wine's all about discovery, so you'll keep, I'm sure, going up and down and learning all about it. So, John, do you keep wine in your lake house?
Yeah, we do for sure. And I think what you just said is how I approach wine, is that it's the never-ending search. It's the never-ending discovery. And, this time of year we've been drinking a little bit more white wine, Sauvignon Blancs and even rosés. It becomes the weather becomes right for it, and I love it this time of year. For some reason, we always think about it in the summer months. And I love the California cabs and cabs from like Oregon and that type of thing. So, but Joyce and I are a little bit more white wine driven, probably more because that's her palate than mine. So I kind of follow along with her. But I love a good red, a rich red, a good rich cab as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. Arturo, are you a wine drinker too?
Yes,
Because you've worked in Champagne, you've done cognac and other spirits.
Many years ago, we produced wines in Mexico, and I love red wines. My favorite is Cabernet Sauvignon, and I like wines from Washington State. These are very good for me. And Napa and wines from Napa that now is the favorites in Mexico.
Yeah. Oh, yes. But I've had some Mexican wines too, and I feel like those are kind of on the rise, which is great. Well, thank you all so much for being here. It was great to taste these. I don't drink a lot of tequila straight, but these are the kinds that I actually could. So that is very nice. They're beautiful aromas, especially again that reposado. I mean, you all are saying that straight is so good, and yes, it is dangerously so. But this was delicious. I want to thank you again for taking the time. Thank you all for joining us at home. If you didn't have a chance to taste the tequila, we have it at Wine.com in a few markets, but I know the Villa One website also has a way for you to locate where you'd be able to find it. And I've been watching their Instagram feed as well for Villa One for great cocktail ideas. So be sure to kind of follow along on that. Is there anything next? Are you guys just sticking with your tequila? Or are you thinking of, I don't know how you branch out on tequila, but.
Well, we've only been out with tequila since the end of last year, so we have a long way to go with this, but we're excited. We've taken off very nicely, even with the pandemic out there. Things have been good. People are drinking.
We're drinking at home. Yes, we are. Yeah.
But thank you so much for hosting us, and Mike for inviting us on to do this. We're honored to be part of this, and we thank everybody at Wine.com and everybody who tuned in.
Thank you so much. Arturo, thank you for being here. Nick, thank you for taking the time and
sharing
the story. I appreciate your passion for quality and finding someone who can definitely deliver on that. And these are delicious, and I am set for the evening. So pretty much.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
It's both a science and a form of high art. It's made from the combination of grapes, sunlight, rain, soil, and time. It's raised up in the moments that matter. It's wine. And we are Wine.com. We have the largest wine selection in the world, online sommeliers with free advice, and now our powerful new app puts the entire world of wine in your hands. Wine.com. Seriously passionate about wine. Download our free app today.